Hey folks, it's CJ Miller. I'm out for my nightly walk. So behind me, we can see some of my apartment complex. It should be opening this part of it for not mine. I don't own it, but that's where I live. We'll be seeing some residents come in there. It's going to be a blend of residential and commercial property. But this is the type of building that I'm creating in my painting that's immediately outside of uh, the canvas that comes into view. And as you can see, there are different shapes and tones and uh, textures and everything. It's an architectural decision that they made so that it didn't look like one giant slab of wall sticking up against whatever. So it's been done by a lot of hotels too throughout. There's even a couple of them. There's one over between Monk House and Pines Road off of 20. There's a hotel over there. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, I am downtown Shreveport. I am taking the walk. Gonna go to the river like I do when I do these things sometimes. And I don't know if it's advised to get 30 minutes of walking in every day. I yeah, I've met that quota. I do. So I'm gonna recap my day. It was a good day. I woke up, like I said last night, determined to come over to the gym, and I did. And I pretty much focused on, I did some weight resistance, but I pretty much focused on activities that are geared towards reduction uh, versus uh, gains. And I spent a lot of time in the hot tub. I spent like a lot of time in the sauna. I spent like a lot of time in the steam room. All those kind of activities, they kind of like jazz up the uh, what is the word of it? Um, Metabolism. Yeah, they kind of jazz up the metabolism, get it going and everything, and make for a more fruitful workout. So that was kind of cool. And then, so I spent a fair amount of time doing that. Uh, and in doing so, in my weigh-ins and stuff like that, I was like, wow, I was like 2.3 pounds above my goal weight. And how this works is like when you weigh in, you got, yeah, it's better to do it when you first wake up, after you void, but before your morning nourish, you know. So you're like optimal lowest weight if you're like I want it to look kick ass. So that's probably your truest weight though, and that was my you know uh my nude weight, or the weight that wearing like a towel or something like that. So uh but it's probably pretty, it's great, it's great. So I'm that close. So I was gonna go to dinner with some friends. I called up a few people, didn't find a dining companion. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll just go to a meeting. I'll come home, I'll wait till midnight. I really didn't have that much to eat. I had my 12:30-ish wings or whatever from last night, uh, or early this morning, 12:30 a.m. Whatever that video I posted about those stewed wings. I had those three wings. I had a early in the morning, about 7 or 8. I had a health bar that it was not. I don't know about a health bar, but yeah, like a, I don't know, something harvest. Those little snack bars or whatever. Uh, and then aside from that, nothing else until this evening. And I decided if I'm not gonna go for dinner, then I'll just go ahead and really just turn this into an actual, you know, for all uh, practical thoughts, a day of fasting. And I decided I'll just uh, be really, really light until midnight. So uh, what I allowed myself to do, if I started to feel irritable or hungry, is the thing, then I would take like 2 or 3, a finger pinch or something, of unsalted, unsweetened mixed nuts, and I could have some of that, you know, just until I got over uh, you know, the grumpiness that comes along with like a good diet. But I'm so close that it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And if I had a friend say, oh, it's pie day. Let's go get CC's pizza. I am not going to waste my carbs and everything on CC's. If I were going to have pizza, it would be pizza. Real, you know what I mean? You've seen me make pizza at home. You know, it would be a pizza with everything and then some. Not everything, because I don't like vegetables on my pizza, but all the meats. Not a piece of flatbread with like a piece of sausage here, a piece of pepperoni here, something like that. It'd be cool. It'd be worth it. So anyway, I declined that. You know, not that I was, yeah, that's cool. You know, but yeah, it's kind of like I kind of talked about this. It's like, you know, there's some people who have like they have to budget their free time, so they have to do what activities that they find enjoyable with the people that they find enjoyable, and so that's kind of cool. But I had never heard of this pie, three whatever. Uh, I don't know. I don't give a damn. And pie, can't you do like an actual pie, like a meat pie? Can we do a meat pie? If it's a Nacogdoches meat pie, that's a pie. Why does it have to be pizza? I don't know. Whatever. I've never heard of that. Yeah, but apparently it's a thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's a little after. It's right approaching midnight. So by the time I get home, it will be after midnight. And what I would do is I would just take my stewed barbecue flavored chicken wings, the ones that were left over from last night, and I'll have some of them. And if I feel to be a little bit more satiated, then it would be a good time that I can have like a little chunk of cheese on the side of it or something, because I hanker for a hunk of cheese, you know. You guys, you're like, what the fuck? When I was in the 70s, there was like these, Saturday morning cartoons, and then the skits, the little kids' advertisements in between that would be educational. There was this character called Timer, and his timer, and his catchphrase was "Time for Timer." And that was almost his voice, And then he'd be saying things, I hanker for, he'd sing little songs, or look, a wagon wheel, whatever. So just go check it out. Time for Timer on YouTube. See some of those. They're funny. But really what it was a gland or a spleen or something like that. Something that regulates your metabolism. And it would tell you when it's time to sleep, when it's time to eat, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes, you're you want to do better for, it talked about how to maintain it too. Like it had a song about don't drown your food in mayo, sauce, ketchup, or goo. Don't overuse condiments. Turns out I didn't catch it. I thought it was just a thing. I wish they would have explained. I mean, I didn't. I thought it was like an endorsement of me eating a plain burger with nothing on that thing, and my sandwich, I don't want anything, I thought it was an endorsement of my peculiar nothing, not even lettuce or tomato. But it turned out that, of course, as we know, that overuse of condiments, it's where a lot of the hidden carbs come from, and a lot of the hidden calories, and over a lifetime, that adds up. And a good way to reduce that is to lay off the carbs, lay off of the sauces. Not every meal has to have a gravy. I know that I say this because I'm French and German, and I'm also from the southern United States. But some food can be dry rubbed, and reduce the sugar in those rubs, and reduce the salts in those rubs, and try to stay away from carbs. I don't practice a perfect keto diet, but I am getting stricter. I go through phases where sometimes I get straight, sometimes I get loose, whatever with it. Most of the time I'm pretty moderate. After I reached the goal of becoming basically non-diabetic, what I did with according to the A1Cs that I've had for a few years now, it's worked. Uh, but you can maintain that just doing keto every few days, and then you can take a little bit of a break, and you can sort of, you don't have to be as regimented. When you reach a goal, you can maintain the goal. Uh, what I decided was uh, I can go just a little bit further to my goal because I'm so close to that goal weight, like 2 pounds and 3 ounces at a gym weight on an electronic scale. I'm like, oh, I can do that. I can sweat that out, and I don't know. In about a week, I can meet it, and then maintain it, and give myself a little bit of room so that I don't know. Because when I go to weigh in with my doctor, because obviously I don't strip down to my skivvies or a towel or something, so there's the clothing weight. What I thought about this when I thought about it, and it's not about the number, but come on, numbers make us feel good. Little goals make us feel good. We got to congratulate our little selves on our little goals, whatever they are, because they'll get us to the ultimate uh, achievement. You know what I mean? Slowly but surely, little by little, we get where we need to go. And it's by small milestones, and we do need those little acknowledgments, those little attaboys, even if we have to do it ourselves. And so, yeah. And since I wasn't going out for dinner or anything like that, I was like, you know what? I got stuff to do around the house. Over a meeting, I'll come back. Won't be that much longer, and then my calorie and carbs and everything starts over at midnight, and may as well just turn this into a practical fast. So you can't do that every day. You can't just like fast every day and then not. But every once in a while, you could do that. Intermittent fasting is okay. You just can't do like a whole crash diet. Crash diets don't work. There are people who will sometimes go on a crash diet to really, really quickly lose some. And it's like, first of all, that kind of thing is not healthy. And then as soon as you start eating again, well, you really haven't done anything to change the natural metabolism because those kind of things happen over time. You want to change your metabolism, get it, to where it's burning, that doesn't happen in just a couple of days. It takes, even getting your body, into ketosis, really sometimes can take up to a week to 2 weeks, you know, which there's a difference between being in ketosis and being on a keto or ketosis diet. You could do the keto diet for, maintenance of the goal that's been achieved. And then if you really want to, you can go into ketosis, and that takes some diligence to do that. But once you do, it's really kind of cool. And then what happens after that is that your body is burning ketones instead of sugar that you're putting in your face or whatever. It's feeding off of your body. So something else that happens is that I'm also, being conscious of heart health. So that means for me, the keto is going to include lower cholesterol. So can I have bacon? Yeah, sometimes. Can I have gravy? Yeah. Can I have fried food? Yeah, sometimes. But I do need to transition because I'm Southern. I love fried food. I do need to get back into being less dependent upon the method of cooking and more into the flavor and getting, leaner cuts and all this kind of good stuff, So that's fine. It'll be what I learned when I gave up Coca-Cola, what we call Coke Classic, and switched to Coke Zero. I really learned that I could do that. Well, actually, to be honest with you, I kind of knew that I could go through that type of a change where I really, really love, and I'm dependent upon this love, and then my stubbornness, I'm not giving up this. Then my little, that's my decision. And if I really want to reach a goal, I can change that goal. And so when I switch from sugary drinks to non-sugary drinks, that's great. But I already knew I could do that because I already, um, with the help of fellowship and spirituality and all that kind of good stuff, therapy and everything, I pretty much gave up recreational drugs and alcohol and started working on uh, uh, a hopeful, better life experience based on that. So I already knew that I could make the type of changes that I needed to make. And how did I have the fortitude to stick to it? I called upon God to help me, to get me motivated. And I did that in the last few days. I've been doing it, and it's like, I guess it was God's will, but I'm not going to go out and have dinner with people, because when I go out, I'm going to say, I really enjoy myself. So it's not going to be over CC's pizza. But let's see. Oh, I'm looking down here. Oh, Joe Ferguson. Wasn't he like a boxer or something? We have these little um, blocks for people. So that's Estelle Brown. Some of them are posthumous, and some of them are like Elvis Presley. This is posthumous. Obviously, he was not here. One guy, I auditioned James Burton, who was a guitar player with Elvis, and he worked with other people too, but he was very, and then he came back, and he was one of those ones that went out and had his success, and then he came home to Shreveport, and he was really good with the Shreveport. This is a Kix Brooks from Brooks and Dunn. Not really my bag, but I can't deny their crossover appeal. I knew that with a couple of Boot Scoot and Boogie, and the other one was Neon Moon or whatever. But I didn't really know those because I was like, I got to know them later. I was otherwise detained from like really getting too involved with that. There's Joe Ferguson, Todd Walker. I've known a couple of the people. There's one, Sky Ryland. She was the, and I think they actually got married at some point. So she basically the wife of a guy who was my physical trainer when I was in my 20s. I used to go to a gym, and we had the money to pay a physical trainer. I didn't, but someone else did when they were doing it, and they had me there as their, so they didn't have to work out by themselves and everything. So I was like, cool. But so this one was, where are we? There it is. Jim McCullough. There's a Jim McCullough, and then there's a Jim McCullough Jr. They both worked together. I know that Jim McCullough did Where the Red Fern Grows, and then later on they worked together on a series of B-rated horror films. Mountaintop Motel Massacre is probably one that's most noted. I auditioned for one or two of those as a teenager, but they were looking for like, eye candy. It was like something like that. You want to package something, and I don't know. And I was only auditioning to be like an extra, and then I was still in school, and I was like, but they don't know. Like, I didn't go to school half the time anyway, and for a paying gig, my parents would have said, hey, you can go to work instead of going to school. But I think there's like laws and stuff, so I don't think they quite let that, but yeah, whatever. But it was fun. It was. I used to go on a lot of auditions. Actually, I say that, but I really didn't. I went on a couple of them. I didn't go on as many as I thought. I went on this one audition for a movie called The Book of Love. And it was in the 90s when everybody was looking like 90210 and Jason Priestley and everything, because that was supposed to be their version of a James Dean. Whatever, I don't know, in The Book of Love, the character. And it was like, hey, whatever, I don't think it did very well. I do not miss it. I don't regret not being in the movie. I wasn't the type, I know that, but still, you know, every James Dean needs a, let's say every Jim Stark, who was the James Dean character, needs a Plato, which was the Salminia character in Rebel Without a Cause. And in the Book of Love, the lead character had a younger brother who played that Salminio kind of role, or whatever. But in the movie, they kind of combined the roles. But I didn't care. Whatever. It was whatever. Stupid. I still got some sour grapes over that. That was my big brush with. Ooh, I could be in a movie. That's actually a movie and not just whatever. then, then I discovered stage acting and fell in love with the stage. So it's like, and then it wasn't about being on camera or anything like that. It was about being on stage and the pretend, the fun of play acting. I loved that. That's what it was about. And so I could care less about anything else. That's my favorite thing to do. But, you know, yeah, that's cool. I like to have fun. And pretty soon, I was going to take a trip at the end of this month. Uh, Plans changed for that. I was going to go to Dallas for a weekend. Uh, Personal plans changed, and so that's cool because I actually can save that money, and I'm going to invest it in the sports train ticket. Then I want to take a trip by buying a seasonal pass to travel via sports train. How this works is you pay for it, you get the ticket, and you take, I don't know, in this case, 10 connections up to 10 trips. Or 10, and by that I mean a section, they call it a section. So from origin to destination, that counts as one trip, and then each transfer counts as a separate trip. So it's not like 10 vacations in 30 days. But anyway, yeah, I get 10 of those. And so I can see some things, and I'll do it within 30 days, and I'll start towards the, uh, yeah, yeah, that's cool. I kind of got it laid out. I kind of want to wait till after I have a birthday in April and a doctor's appointment coming up, and then I want to see what's going on there because I don't want to do everything that I'm doing and then turn around and go on a U.S. tour basically and like sink my progress, But I don't want to go on vacation and live on peanuts either. Actually, peanuts are not great for this particular diet. It's okay if the mixed nuts has a couple of peanuts in it, but you really want dry nuts, like you know, yeah. And it's moderate. You don't want to eat so it's okay to eat some just to get me through. So as I go along, I learn a little bit more. But yeah, when you get around to watching cholesterol, particularly HDL, the bad cholesterols or whatever, then you want to you know look at your vegetables too. Green beans, wax beans, that kind of stuff. They very high in oils and fats and things like that. So you want healthy uh, fats, but you don't want unhealthy fats. So it matters apparently. One is very beneficial for the heart, and one is exactly terrible for the heart. And if that's the case, why are they both called fat? I don't know. Sure is beautiful. Okay, so it is about time I've come down here. I'm going to spend a few minutes and then I'm going to go home. And by the time I get there, it'll probably be about 1 a.m. Good for me. Yay. I'm making a video. I heard their little speaker over there. I don't want to shout to them, shut up. But I'm going to spend a little time meditating with the river. Uh, and then I'm going to go home. And then I will, by that time, it'll be time for me to have my din. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I feel great, by the way, if you can't tell. So that is a benefit of ketosis. You get that I don't know if it's ketosis, but just a keto diet. You really, really get in there and just like it has that effect, you know, that energizing effect. Uh, and Hey, maybe it has to do with not being weighed down by stuffing my face, you know, all day long with food, you know, because you know sometimes when you got uh, like a holiday and you load up on your holiday meal and you just want to take a big old nap, you get stupid, fat, dumb, and lazy or whatever. Keto for some reason kind of has an opposite effect where you get energized, and then from there it's a matter of you don't want to overdo it because there was this one time when I really just you have to listen to your body, and when it really is time to eat, you have to eat, you know. And this one time I got delayed. I was with someone, and we were going to stop somewhere and get some food, but the place was closed. And then we didn't really stop. And I went home. And by the time I got up to the apartment, I had to like bring some groceries up. And this is when I lived in the Fairmont. So and then the elevator was out or whatever. So I basically took groceries up uh, 8 flights of stairs without an elevator. Uh, and really, it was like by the time I got around there, it was like there was a sudden like not like you know like how it can be right now. It can be like trying to think of what to say and how I want to say it. So I'll pause and I'll consider the phrasing that I want to use. That is not the type of thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about like actual utter like a cow. No, complete confusion. Really, it was like, oh my god, and something felt very off with my cognition and everything. It was like, you know, and I was so concerned. I tried to eat some quick food, but it wasn't working for me. Uh, like when I say quick food, I mean like I made a quick sandwich or something like that and ate it. It didn't work. And I guess in about 10 or 15 minutes, I was like, I can't do this. I need to maybe think about going to a hospital, see if I didn't do something or something. So I started going down the road, going to the hospital. I let someone know as my sister, and she met me. Uh, I was near her apartment by that time. That's how quick, you know. I was very energetic but very confused, and I remember I got into the car, and she was going to take me to the hospital. And a few blocks later, I started to feel better. The food started to digest my blood and everything like that. But no, that was, you know. So I've learned really just be careful. Listen to the body. When it's time to eat, when you're doing a diet, it's time to eat. Don't starve yourself for the sake of a diet. Really, you know, intermittent fasting, like I do, is fine. Uh, but what that means is that, I don't know, if you really need it, you know, I don't know, have a bite to eat in between or something like that. You know, I mean, you're still going to get the benefit of, you know. So now, when I talk about this, I'm not a professional. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm not a doctor. Whatever. So, uh, but so don't take my advice if you're going to come back and say CJ said. Nope. I'm telling you what I've done, what works for me. You have to. One thing uh, I always say, do this with doctor's consultation all the way through for something like this. Always. Um, always. Oh, it's so funny. I think I talked about this. So I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. No, I'm actually going to say I'm close to the end of the video now. Let me go ahead and say, because I'm running out of time, I love you. God bless. For true. Love and light. Peace. Good night.